guys, and welcome to Handsoncooking. My name is Chris. Today we're making a soft pretzel, one that's pretty comparable to the Auntie Anne's pretzel. We're going to make one that's even better. So I went ahead and I measured all the ingredients that we'll need for our pretzel today. We're going to need 1 cup of milk that we will warm to about 110 degrees, 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour and a little bit more for kneading, 8 tablespoons of butter, 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1 pack of instant yeast, 1/3 cup of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of fine salt, and finally 2 tablespoons of coarse salt. So the first step in making our pretzel for today, we'll work on the dough. With that said, I'm going to take the milk and put it in the microwave to warm it up. So I just took the milk out of the microwave. I microwaved it for maybe a minute. This should be warm enough. So now I'm going to pour it into another bowl here. So we just want the milk warm and not super hot, so 1 minute is good. And then I'm going to take our yeast, fast acting yeast, and I'll add it to the mixture here. So it's been about 2 minutes. I'm going to add our brown sugar to the milk mixture and we'll mix this in as well. Want to get this nice and mixed. And then afterwards we'll add 1 cup of flour and we'll continue to mix it with our spoon. Now we'll take our 1 cup of flour and we'll pour it in here. We'll also mix this in. So you'll end up with this watery flour mixture, but no need to worry. We'll add more flour. We'll add the rest of the flour. We'll add the 1 1/4 cup of remaining flour to this, and then we'll put it on a hard surface and we'll knead it out. Before I add the remaining flour, I'm going to microwave this 2 tablespoons of butter for about 30 seconds till it becomes soft and liquidy. So I just took the butter out the microwave. It's nice and soft. We're going to add this to our mix here. And then we'll add our 1 teaspoon of fine salt. We'll give this a mix. And then finally we'll add the remaining flour, the 1 1/4 cup flour. And then we'll mix this with our spoon here. As you can see, the dough starts to become more stiffer. We are eventually gonna put it on our hard surface here and knead the dough for about 5 minutes. We'll add some more flour to put it all together. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to flour the surface. So now I'm going to take the dough and we're going to put it on a hard surface here. And we're going to knead it for 5 minutes. I'm going to set an alarm to make sure that I'm kneading it for the 5 minutes. Alright, so we're going to get going with kneading our dough. After we finish kneading the dough, we'll put it back in a well-greased bowl and we'll cover it with plastic wrap for about an hour until it doubles in size. So again, now I'm just going to cover it with the plastic wrap. And I'll let it sit for an hour until it doubles in size. While we wait for the dough to rise, we'll start preparing our baking sheet. We're going to add some oil. As we wait for the dough to rise, we're going to dissolve the baking soda in some warm water. So we're going to put our baking soda, and we have about 3 cups of water that we'll add into it. And the dough should be ready in a bit. Alright, so it's been an hour. The dough has doubled in size. We'll take a look here. We'll put it onto a lightly floured surface. We'll pat it down. And then what you want to do, you're going to cut this into 6 pieces. So we're going to work on our dough now. We're going to just stretch it out into a 30-inch piece of rope. So now we'll take our dough, crisscross it, and we'll just fold it back over into this classic pretzel shape. I'll do it slower this time. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna cross twice, and we'll flip it over into that classic pretzel style. So now what we'll do, we'll take our pretzel dough and we'll dip it in the baking soda water bath, and we'll put it on our baking sheet. And this is what the pretzel dough should look like. We're just waiting for the oven to get to 450 degrees. One last step before we put these in the oven, we're going to take our coarse salt and sprinkle it on top. So this is what your pretzel dough should look like. When the stove hits 450 degrees, we're going to put these in for 7 to 8 minutes. And then we'll take them out and brush them with some melted butter. Alrighty, so we have 450 degrees on our stove. We're going to put these in. So we're about halfway done. In the meantime, I'm going to soften some butter so we can brush it on to our pretzel when it's finished. So we'll take our pretzel out of the oven, and voila, this is what we have. Final step would be to brush on some butter. And that's what I'll do now. I use a microwave to soften the butter. Now I'm just going to simply brush it on to our pretzel here. I'm going to give it a nice generous coat. This is our pretzel for today. I'm going to have it with some cheese. Please let me know what you think about the recipe. Will you add anything to it? Would you take anything away? Also, please like and subscribe to the channel for weekly recipes. My name is Chris, and I'll see you.